I think you have a lot of academics out there who know that this is nonsense. I think we have a problem. I think there's a lot of intellectual cowardice in this country right now. And I go back to the 1619 Project and the unwillingness of so many people to call it what it was. That's horrible. Every historian in the country should have been shouting from the rooftops that this woman who'd never written a book about anything, let alone a book about slavery or the American Revolution. And yet people were just taking what she said so serious. School curriculums, K through 12 school curriculums have been altered to accommodate this nonsense.
Nikole Hannah-Jones takes herself very seriously and just doesn't listen. She thinks all criticism is racism. And frankly, with Kendi, as you say, there's only so much there, and he doesn't know. He's not capable of thinking beyond a certain point. It's not a racket. He thinks he's right.
But my question is, why does it work? Why is Kendi Kendi and why is Jones Jones? What's going on in the New York Times newsroom that ends up in the 1619 Project? And what's going on in the Democratic Party that ends up with the narratives that these people generate being the currency of the realm?
I mean, John, I with Nikole Hannah-Jones, I think I quote you in the book saying, this person won a Pulitzer Prize for something everyone knows isn't true.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Who's giving Kendi all this money to start his tens of millions of dollars?
People engaging in performance art. Yeah.
Maybe racket isn't the word. Maybe it's a grift. Maybe that's the right term.
Are they virtue signaling? Are they trying to buy a certain kind of exemption from judgment?
Yes. They're buying indulgences. I don't think that Kendi and Nikole Hannah-Jones are grifters. I think it's the whites who support them who have somebody to answer for because they're performing. Yeah, that's my view of it. Jason, who else would you say is kind of peddling stuff where they know that it's no good, but they can see? Maybe the people who today have these lucrative DEI administrative positions, maybe that's a case of somebody who's making a lot of money off of something that maybe they know is not exactly,
Perhaps, but I would punch a little higher than that. I think you have a lot of academics out there who know that this is nonsense. I think we have a problem with sort of, I think there's a lot of intellectual cowardice in this country right now. And I go back to the 1619 Project and the unwillingness of so many people to call it what it was. It was just, that's horrible. Every historian in the country should have been shouting from the rooftops that this woman who'd never written a book about anything, let alone a book about slavery or the American Revolution. And yet people were just taking what she said so serious. School curriculums, K through 12 school curriculums have been altered to accommodate this nonsense. I mean, this is awful. Where is the academy? Where are the people who know this stuff inside and out? Why were so few of them willing to step forward and denounce it? I think that's
because nobody wants to be called a racist on Twitter.
Yeah. Well, President Clinton accepted in that regard. We certainly subjected that to some criticism here at the Glenn Show. I also want to mention Margaret Woodson and the 1776 project that he mounted at the Woodson Center as a counterpoint to that.
Yeah, Gordon Wood, James McPherson. There have been some, but not. It should have been the head of every history department in every major university. They should have been falling over one another to shoot this stuff down.
With apologies for having to cut this short because of the schedule, Jason, give you an opportunity to have a last word on what you want people to take away about your book.
Well, again, I think people should not swallow whole this narrative that affirmative action has been a net good for Blacks, that it's been necessary in order for Blacks to rise in this country and to advance economically or educationally. Those things were happening. And the takeaway is that Blacks have done much better in terms of upward mobility when the focus is on colorblindness than when the focus is on special treatment. And I think that that should be the direction our policymakers and our politicians move in. when it comes to trying to address these divisions that we have and these gaps that we have. And that's what I hope people take away from the book, that colorblindness is the way to go, not racial preferences, which are not only divisive, not only unconstitutional, but ineffective in achieving their stated goals. And so we've given these policies 50 years to work. How much longer do they need to show us what they can do? I think we've given them enough time, and it's time to try something different, and to go back to colorblind thinking about how to set in place public policy that everyone can benefit from. So that would be my takeaway.
Well, I might just close by saying amen, and saying that you exhibit a confidence in the capacities of Black people to take care of our business and to lift ourselves in this great country, which is admirable. False Black power is one thing, believing that you need affirmative action. Real Black power looks to the history of African-American progress, even before the Civil Rights era, and sees a lot of resilience and resourcefulness in the African-American population, which I think you still believe is there.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's your book very, very sweetly cuts through the tacit idea that it's immoral to submit Black people to serious competition, which is what I think a lot of people have drunk in of both colors, all colors. We've got to get past that, especially in 2020.